Hi, and welcome to the Stouting Off Podcast, episode number 54. Before we get started, would you do me a favor and like, subscribe, and share this podcast with your friends, with your family, and anyone else who you care about in this life? We'd greatly appreciate it. Helps the algorithms, helps this podcast reach more people. Again, just thank you in advance. Without much further ado, here comes episode 54 of the Stouting Off Podcast. Welcome to episode number 54 of the Stouting Off Podcast. I'm your host, Drew Stoutenberg, and it's just special to have you with us today. I want to also extend a heartfelt welcome to my colleagues, my brothers in arms, Jordan and Will. Welcome.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hi.
Been sleeping here since the last episode. Just woke up.
Set an alarm for episode 54.
Yep.
Speaking of setting alarms, I had a friend recently post on their Instagram story that there was, they had to wake up really early and something like 10 alarms every 2 minutes to wake up. Is that a yay or nay? Is that you're out of your mind, or is that, yeah, totally get it?
I feel like once I'm up, I'm up. I know a lot of people who do the same thing, including someone that's close to me. She has to set numerous alarms. They're all random numbers. If I were to open up her phone, that's like 702, 707, 710. It's like 3 and 2 minutes.
There aren't real increments.
And then for some reason, she decided, well, I have trouble getting out of bed in the morning and being on time with my alarm and stuff. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go buy an old-timey looking alarm clock, which does. I mean, it's not like you have to wind it and everything like that. It's still digitized. Right. What is the difference here? Unless it's physically shaking you out of bed, how did you improve your situation, really?
Yeah,
and she didn't wake up the morning after she got it.
Well, go figure.
Well,
yeah, so
it goes without saying.
Well, I tell you, when I set an alarm, the second it starts, I mean, even when just the phone lights up before it starts, I exaggerate, but
you can hear the radio waves coming through in your sleep.
Exactly. I hear that ding, 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 like that sound, like when there's a speaker near something. The electronic,
the interference.
Yes. The second my alarm goes off, I spring out of bed like Liu Kang getting up from being uppercut or something in Mortal Kombat. You know what I'm talking about? The ninja get up where you throw your legs forward. I'm just out of bed already. Okay, great. Turn off the alarm. Let's go. Let's begin our day.
Yeah.
I'm 20 minutes in separation. So I'll set my alarm for 5 and 5:20 or 4 and 4:20, something like that.
So you do two alarms.
I do 2 alarms, yeah.
And by the way, 4 a.m.?
Yeah, if I go to the gym early or something.
I forgot to mention this to you, who works at a coal mine, and that's when the
I do have to wake up
starts.
Early shift, yeah.
So.
I do.
The best times to chip away on the coal mine are the 4 hours before the sun
That's when the
comes
coal
up,
is softest, when you can extract it from the walls of the cave, is between
it is the best time
the hours
to
of
do
4:30 and 5 a.m. So that's why.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But
I had a friend one time. I had a friend one time who, when he set an alarm, he bought an alarm similar to your friend, what she did, but he set it on his dresser. Not next to the bed,
Yep.
which would just serve the purpose as your phone. So he had to physically get up to turn it off. So that makes sense.
That's the play.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That is the best practice. That is the best practice, I would say.
And also practiced by many.
That is the best practice.
True. If you think about it both ways, practice v. practiced. The classic court case of 1957.
Listen to this fact that I have to tell you guys. Here's the fact. I was at Kroger, my local grocer, earlier today, and Livin' La Vida Loca was playing.
Already off to a good start, yeah.
Yep.
And this is the fact that was playing, and as I was walking around, I would walk by this person looking at cookies and stuff, and I would hear them. They were singing it, and then I would walk by the cereal aisle, and everyone in the store was singing it, dude. It felt like I was on the scene of a music video.
They're only
the flash mob.
Flash mob, dude! I swear it was like that. I was walking through, and there were some people humming it.
They're only singing the back high harmony to it,
Yeah.
which is funny.
They were, yeah. Everyone knew to go to the fifth.
Yeah.
Everyone knew to go to the fifth harmony. So it was wild. Yeah, I felt like I was a part of like a music video or a flash mob or something, and I was just walking around looking at people in the eyes like, are you guys in on something? Are you guys in on this together? No one told me?
That's you may not know this, but all of Ricky Martin's backup singers all live in Nashville, and that's the Kroger that they go to.
Oh, I did hear about that.
I think I heard about something.
They put their
like that.
groceries in time.
Yes. Ricky Martin's the manager.
Scanning the barcode. The beep, beep, beep.
The barcode scanner changes tone. Beep, 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 beep.
Tapping on the. Oh, that's great. Yeah, it was a wild experience. I just thought it was awesome, and I knew that my guys would appreciate that.
Yeah, that's
also,
great.
A housekeeping item. 17 lucky listeners of episode 53. That's what we posted last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 53 is the previous one.
Mm-hmm.
We're on 54 now, right?
Yes.
17 lucky listeners of episode 53 got the uncut version that I accidentally posted, the unedited version, audio only, on Spotify, Apple, and the other places. So if you guys were one of the lucky 17, good for you. And you also heard us talking like, all right, let's take a break now, guys. I'm gonna go get some water. And then there was just like a 3-minute pause. So
The
you
lost
guys
tapes.
Privileged behind the scenes access.
Whoever bootlegged
Honestly,
that.
Those are going on eBay for like
Somebody
$6.
bootlegged that for sure. Somebody's got a copy of a CD of it, and it's flooding the streets of New York.
Yeah.
We have a hot market in New York. I was going to say that. We could start a Patreon, and we could just literally keep that in there like that, you know?
Yeah.
So one of the several ways I'm thinking about monetizing this thing, and, you know, we'll talk to our business manager. But, guys, episode 54, we've been on a roll in terms of new listeners and followers on Instagram, and it's just been nice. So if you guys are among those new people, welcome. Welcome to our community. I'm Drew, that's Jordan, and that's Will, and, you know, we rock and roll. Hot in my house right now, tell you that much. Also, I did just come from the gym, so it's like that post-gym still sweating even though you showered.
Mm-hmm.
Feels really good, man, to sweat still, even though you're trying to be just like low-key. Will, you had a mold issue with your garbage disposal.
It's an ongoing mold issue. The mold has not materialized quite yet. I'm waiting for my landlord to put it off for it to materialize, and then I can harvest it. And sell it
gotcha.
Yeah, sell it to local
only-
markets. I'm going to take it down to the farmer's market, see what I can get.
Going for a pretty penny nowadays, I hear.
Yeah.
What are you selling your black mold for these days? What's that? Wow.
Scared? Yeah, a supply chain. It's gone up.
Yeah. Chips.
Black mold inflation.
That's why I'm trying to cut out the middleman here, make my own.
Yeah.
Hey, so tell us what happened. I only saw the Instagram story. I didn't even text or call you about it or anything, so I was just curious.
Appreciate that, making sure that I'm okay. And so what happened was I was using the left side of my sink, which has the garbage disposal sink portion in it. And I was doing some dishes, and I'm like, I'm going to turn on my garbage disposal and clear this stuff out. I go to turn it on. It's not turning on. I thought maybe the GFI had tripped, so I reset that. Flick, nothing. So I'm like, okay, don't know what's going on here. Maybe it's just stuck. I open up the cabinet to look at it and see if I can diagnose anything, and water is just steadily dripping from the bottom of this thing. And I look down, and the water that had pooled in the bottom of my cabinet looked like a spill that would have happened at Chernobyl.
Colorful. It was pretty colorful looking.
It was like an oil spill in the Gulf. Yes. I don't know why it looked like that, but it just did.
Or like the Grand Prismatic Spring at Yellowstone,
Yes.
like all the colors
Technicolor. Completely.
of mold.
Yes. My fire
sulfur.
extinguisher was floating in it. It was great. So, yeah, I've lifted up like the stupid laminate thing. Because, all right, let me explain this to anybody that's listening.
Let's hear that.
My apartment, as you know, love the place, great location, all this stuff. But the reason why it's cheap and I continue to live there, part of the reason is because they haven't updated anything since 1978, whenever it was originally built. All the same cabinets, countertops, doors, hardware, all of that good stuff. I live in a flashback time in my apartment when it comes to that stuff.
Well, and also your apartment is furnished like a speakeasy, so that's a flashback in a stylistic way.
Right. The landlord took my apartment back to 1979. I took it even further back to 1935.
Yeah.
So, joke's on them.
Got him.
So, yeah, anyway.
They tried to get him.
Yeah, he turned the tables.
They tried. Didn't succeed. Now I get rent for free. But I lifted up the little laminate, stupid fake wood grain thing from the cabinet, and there's just like a water stain there. So clearly it's soaked through the wood. Perfect. And last year, another thing happened where my dishwasher, again, probably original to 1978, that started to leak. And it was leaking on the cycle where the water goes, all the used water goes through the drain kind of deal. So that was leaking. Landlord came in, looked at it. He said, okay, I got the dishwasher running. Looks to be fine. Problem solved. I'm like, I don't know how you did that. You didn't look at anything. You didn't pull it out from the thing. So
just went like this.
Yeah, he's just like, well, the power's
All
on.
right.
See ya.
Just tapped it a couple times.
Hey, it's still got power, so I guess
Like
that's
it's an old TV from the the 80s or something. Just smack it a couple times.
He put radio antennas. He attached radio antennas to the dishwasher and said, "That's fixed. I'll see you later."
Plugged a coaxial cable into it. Paid for a subscription to Xfinity cable. All good. It should work.
I've got a modem fixed to my dishwasher now, and he thought that was the problem. So
It usually is.
yeah. So he left. Water continued to pool up in the same time frame as it did on the last cycle. So I said, hey, it's broken again. Well, what happened that time was there was so much excessive water, and there's a bedroom below me because I live on the top level, and there was so much excess water that it had found its way through the ceiling and was dripping through the light fixture in the bedroom in the apartment below me.
Oh, no.
Dripping nasty water that was filtered, charcoal mellow filtered through the the wood and the everything in the light fixture, and it ruined that person's sheets, I'm pretty sure, and stuff.
What's the urgency of the landlord to get over there?
Well, he said, you're going to need a new garbage disposal. I said, yep, I figured that. And I said, what I'm more concerned about is the fact that the dishwasher leaked twice and now the garbage disposal has leaked onto these cabinets, and you probably have some rot going on and or maybe some mold issues. So you need to replace these cabinets and make sure that anything is taken care of. And he didn't even address it and then left. So it seems like everything's squared away.
Yeah. Well, hey, not to mention, that's his building. He owns both units. It's his whole house that was converted, whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if water was coming from a floor above you, if you're the downstairs neighbor, and water was coming through, and it's coming through just the one hole in the ceiling, which is where the light is.
Yeah.
That means that water is probably all over that whole ceiling thing. His problem is bigger than just a leaky washing machine.
Yep.
It's big.
For sure.
Yeah. They didn't inspect any of that. They just threw a new dishwasher in, and now he's giving me a new disposal. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to have to deal with the other stuff. So,
yeah, you're going to have to deal with the other stuff when I fall through my floor onto my downstairs neighbor's bed.
Yeah.
Middle of the night, by the way. Just
with the sewage water.
Alarms.
With the sanitary sink water.
It's
hey, I'm here.
For real.
It's in my kitchen, which is right above that bedroom. So if anything, I'd crash through there with a bowl of cereal in my hands or something.
But it stays. It
all
in
stays
the bowl
intact.
somehow.
Yes. So what happens is I pour the dry cereal, and then I have the spoon in there, and then I fall through, and the milk, as a result, falls through and then pours the milk into my bowl.
Through the light hole.
Through the light hole. The light hole is still intact somehow.
Yeah. I actually want to eat cereal out of the light fixture if I can. I think that's possible.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we had a friend whose family owned a restaurant in your town, Plymouth, and it was an old building, and my friend said, one day, I was talking to my dad with my back to him. I was at one of the tables, and I was talking to my dad, who was behind the counter, and I had my back to him. And I said something to him. He didn't say anything, and I heard a sound. And he said, I turned around, and he wasn't there anymore. He had fallen through the floor just while standing there, dude. He was standing there, and he was there one moment, fell through the floor, and then suddenly was in the basement. Isn't that insane?
Not a sound. Not a single sound.
Nothing. No wood creaking or splitting or anything. Just a silent.
Hey, Bobby. Yeah? Gone.
It's kind of like when an F-16 fighter passes you and you have to wait for the sound to come. It was like a sonic boom that probably occurred.
Yeah, it was after the fact.
Yeah.
Lightning and thunder.
No, he fell through. There was no sound, and then suddenly an F-16 sounded like it went over.
An
The sound
F-16
was-
fly over. The Blue Angels come in overhead to commemorate it.
You ask a Blue Angel after in an interview, what made you decide on Old Village, Starkweather Road in Plymouth? Well, we heard somebody fell through a floor there, so we just a
That's
quick
how
We
aside
quickly
there.
took off from Willow Run Airport, made our way there. We shattered all the windows in Plymouth.
That's funny.
Yeah, he fell through.
Somebody,
I was going to say, water in a property of any kind is the killer, honestly. Water causes mold and rot and all the things. And Jordan, you used to work in this world, waterproofing basements and crawl spaces and stuff.
I did.
You say that so sheepishly.
I did.
I did, Your Honor.
Yes, I did.
We talked about this a little bit before we recorded episode 53, and I wanted to dive into it, but we ran out of time.
Yeah.
So I want to bring it up now.
What's it going to be?
What's that?
Lay it on me, man.
No, the thing is that you said that you encapsulated a crawl space that was 1,700 square feet.
Yeah.
And the crawl space was only 10 inches deep, right?
Correct.
And you just deserve a gold medal for that. Honestly,
Dude.
that's my whole point in saying that is
I've never
that-
felt claustrophobic really in my life. I don't really have an issue with that kind of stuff. Unless, like, I saw these videos online of people going into caves, by the way, like really
Yeah.
small caves. And I'm
can't
like,
do it.
why are you
You
doing
can't
it?
turn around. You can't get out of there.
Yeah, like,
was it underwater or no?
not underwater. No.
Okay.
But they were,
But they were just
it was just dry desert. And they're like, I'm going to go in here now. And then it like takes them 5 minutes to get in the hole because they're like inching their way through. Anyway, that's kind of how I
Oh
felt
my
though. So the whole point of doing like encapsulating crawl space. Now, fortunately, when you're in a crawl space situation, you never know what's down there. Usually it's all of the building materials, insulation, water, whatever, from when they're building the house. Because why wouldn't you just throw it in the crawl space?
yeah.
And so usually you have to like go in there, clean it all out. This one was like perfectly clean. So that was good. But when you do a crawl space like that, you start on the very back end. So the first thing you do is you basically crawl and scoot your way all the way to the back. And then you start, lining the walls with a foam material and then running a liner up to that foam material. And you do it in stripes like mowing a lawn, right?
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of
makes
how
sense.
it goes, from back to front. But all of that, like, I've never been so claustrophobic in my entire life because,
10 inches, dude.
well, and there gets a point when you like make your way. It was like an L-shaped house. So like when you get to the very back and you turn like your headlight off or anything like that, it's just black.
Oh.
And so like I didn't freak out, but like there was a point where I was like, I wish that I just didn't do this for a living.
Yeah. Dude, 10 inches.
I'm sorry. If I go in that space, that's my coffin.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
I
it.
die there.
Yep.
Yeah.
No one's extracting me until the house gets torn down in 40 years.
I'll
It
leave
was-
my will
yeah.
just outside of the crawl space
Yeah.
to find.
I
Because
always
that's where
left
I'm-
my letter of resignation there just in case.
Dude, I
Yeah.
mean, 10 inches. If you're laying on your back, well, especially now that you've been lifting for the past year, but even then, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean when
You
you're
lay on your
crawling
back,
through there too,
That's probably 10 inches right there.
well,
Taking
when
a
you're
deep breath.
when you're crawling through too, like that, like you naturally lift up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so like getting under like floor joists and things like this, like you'd have to like palms on the ground and like literally just shove yourself underneath a floor joist. This one was pretty flat, which is nice because usually you'd have to like get in there and like take like one of those military small shovels and like dig out a
You're in
way
the
for you to
trenches.
get under the joist, like all that stuff. So But yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've lived better times than that. That kind of sucked.
No, that was a hard job.
A good learning opportunity for me.
Yeah,
And you did very well. I mean, they paid you very well from what I gather. You know,
Yeah,
what
it was
you've
a good
said.
job.
And, you know, just a learning experience, and probably just makes you appreciate what you do now and what you have now all the more. Right?
Yeah, humbled me out a little bit.
Again, that's that would be my coffin, and the funeral would be in the floor above where I laid in the internment.
Well,
Like-
I'll say this too.
Unless
Like a climber who got lost in an avalanche.
Well, we know he's down there.
Yeah.
It's been a day, I know, but we know he's down there.
He's
But-
somewhere in there in our
somewhere.
hearts. Yeah.
I will say that the worst part about that job, then we can move on so I don't have PTSD, but the worst part about the job was when you don't live above someone in an apartment complex and your sanitary line drains or whatever, your sink drains into a light hole down into someone's bedroom,
Yeah.
it goes into the crawl space. And if a crawl space is flooded, like if you get a lot of rain and it goes into under the foundation or through the foundation or whatever,
Yeah.
then it's flooded and you're in 2 feet of water swimming to get to a pump or like place a pump. And then the worst thing is that like you would get to the middle of it and look up and there would be like a toilet drain. Bleep, bleep,
Oh.
bleep, bleep.
Oh
Bleep.
my.
These things happen, man. And yeah, I've swam in lots of things.
Again, nice spot for a coffin. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, what if? Just go with me here. What if you were encapsulating the crawl space where Will lives, and you were down there and you were swimming around, and suddenly he falls through the floor with a bowl of cereal?
Bowl of Lucky Charms just in my hand.
He's suddenly down there with you. He has a headlamp on. He's going through. He's got the encapsulating material.
He's got his death certificate.
He's got his death certificate.
I've already got a snorkel in somehow.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's funny. I had another thing that I wanted to bring up as well. Oh, this is a thing. So, you guys can probably relate to this. When you ask somebody, hey, do you want... You offer them an alcoholic beverage. Do you want a pour of bourbon, or would you like me to make you a cocktail or whatever? And if the person doesn't drink, but they say back to you, nah, I'm not much of a drinker. There's this connotation to that of like, oh, if you're not a drinker, so someone who drinks, so I'm a drinker. Like, the
like an
sound of like
insult.
drinker is like, yeah, I lost my house and I lost all my stuff, lost my first wife, like I
Yeah,
lost
'cause
my,
I'm a drinker.
you know, like custody because I was drinking so much. I'm a drinker, you know, like
You might as well answer it in a different way. Like, you want to pour something? No, I love my family.
right, exactly. No, I stay away from that
Thank you.
that stuff that ruins people's lives, even in moderation. No thanks. I think
No,
about
I'm
that.
not an addict.
Right. I'm not controlled by anything, like you apparently are, scum. And
No,
so
I'm okay. I have self-control over my entire life. And clearly you don't.
clearly you don't. Dirtball. Or I think the same thing. Like, you ever use FanDuel? Like, you ever go and put $1 or $2 on a basketball game or something? Nah, not much of a gambler. Oh man. Okay. So all right. Well, I lost I gambled away all my home equity,
Right.
my life savings.
They're equating you spending a couple of bucks on FanDuel to blowing $5,000 on slots.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that,
Horse races.
in quarters too, by the way, $5,000 in quarters.
Yes.
Just there for 4 weeks.
Rolls
straight,
of quarters. You have a dolly you have to bring into the casino. Quarters.
I've never actually used slot machines, by the way. Seems fun. I'm not much of a gambler, so I wouldn't. But did you
have.
guys ever?
Yeah.
I'm not much of a gambler. He brought it out. Yeah. I've played slots a few times, and it's like only when when people are a little bit distracted. Like I think when we went, Josh played blackjack.
Craps.
Or did he played craps? Okay, yeah, but like if the guys are kind of getting settled or whoever I'm with, and somebody goes on a slot, I'm like, I'll throw a couple bucks in, see what happens. But in general, I don't want to be with the people that play the slots. I don't want to be in that mix.
Yeah.
Because that only means one thing. It's that I have nothing left in life. if I'm playing slots.
This is where you expire.
Yeah.
You remember the movie 21?
No.
21
I
is,
do.
21 is like one of my favorite movies ever.
Yeah, it was. They were counting cards.
Yeah,
right?
counting cards.
Oh, wait. Okay. I have seen that. Yep.
I forgot the
bad.
guy's name, but he's brilliant. And one of the lines in there is slots are for losers. But dude, like,
Period.
I'm not gonna say that that's true, but one of the most depressing things walking through a casino, because like whatever, I just got back from Vegas, so
Yeah.
walking through a casino to get to breakfast or whatever, it's really depressing to walk in at 7 a.m. and someone's just there with a beer and just cigarette after cigarette after cigarette after loss after loss after loss. You can see defeat in someone's face.
Yeah, no one looks happy playing slots.
No
ever.
one.
And
That's a gambler. So that's a
that's
gambler.
what
That's a
a gambler is,
gambler.
ladies and gentlemen, right there. That is someone who cannot pull themselves away from the big bright machine long enough to walk out of the casino.
Yeah.
It's like you're walking past somebody who has their face pressed up against a television screen watching TV.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're just staring at bright lights right in your face, and it's an automated motion at that point.
Yeah.
You know, with any other game, I mean, at least there's strategy to it. You're not just mindlessly cranking quarter after quarter through that thing, hoping it's going to be your shot.
And some of these slots are like $2, $3. Like, you know, there's like penny slots and things like that, but like the big payouts are like, you know, $1 or whatever, $2 or whatever you do. But I think the common theme is that, well, at some point I'll win, right? At some point I'm going to win. And then all the money goes away and you're like, where? I haven't won yet.
It aren't slot machines like it's all digital now, right? Like it's not an actual rolling thing in there,
Are
right?
some,
Like isn't it all software?
Yeah, it's pretty much all software. You know, like more so like displays that have the, you know, that have the automation
so I
in
don't
there.
like that. If I'm gonna it's a special occasion, I'm gonna take $100 down to the casino or something. I'm gonna play card games or craps or roulette or something where it's like it's not just predetermined by a software program.
Yeah, you have a hand in the decision making.
Yeah, I can see. I can watch it unfold like in real life, not like not just the odds of 1 in every 50,000 people is going to win $1,000.
Yeah,
right.
You know? And it's not that the casino doesn't have their best interest in hand at the end of the day, but with something like a slot machine, it's all digitalized, and you know, it's there's nothing to it. Whereas again, you have a hand, with blackjack, with roulette, with any of those things, and they're physical things, which I really like. You know, you have a physical ball with roulette. There's a chance
where it bounces.
You don't know where it's going to bounce. You place your bet. You know, so that's what draws me more to that kind of stuff. Again, I'm not a gambler, but that's what
I
makes
agree
me not
though.
wanna
Like
play.
the video game style feels like there's just too much. There's just too much control by the maker of
they
it,
can,
you know,
can't they
or
rig it
the
like
house.
even
Totally.
Oh, totally.
even way better when it's digital. Like that's the thing that sways me away from playing those.
Yeah.
100%.
I was at the Venetian just visiting.
I was going to ask
for
you to
dinner.
talk about Vegas a bit, if you would.
Yeah,
Your
so
trip.
like one interesting fact is that I was talking to one of the employees at the Venetian while we were eating breakfast, and we eat at a place called Grand Lux, which is basically like Cheesecake Factory but for breakfast.
Cool.
And
huge menu.
and it looks like the
20,
Cheesecake
30
Factory.
pages, yeah.
Like it's
The
it's
binder.
huge, yeah. But good place to eat breakfast. It's not like crazy expensive, and it's just it's close. But anyway, I was talking to one of the employees at the Venetian, and he said, yeah, like I think the movement has passed to basically bring every slot machine and virtual game a card reader, so that you don't have to get up and go to like the cage and go to the cashier or the ATM with all the. It's going to be like swipe your card, and I'm like, that is the worst thing that you could possibly do.
Yeah.
Right? But it's the best thing for them. But like just giving access right there, like
It's
having to
trouble.
get up and go to the ATM, it should be a signal like, I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be like, Frank.
Right.
$5,
Yes.
$10, $25,
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
When it's right there, you're like, why not?
Yeah, that's tough, man.
The casino, because again, I'm not a gambler, but it is a really
I'm not much of a freaking gambler, dude.
I'm not much of a gambler. The casino, there's a few places where like casinos I have not frequented a lot in my life whatsoever. The first time I ever played roulette was on my birthday just a few months ago. Like I am not the kind of guy who's like, hey, let's pop by the casino. Our friend Matt Dykla cannot get enough of it, mentions it every time we're within 30 miles of downtown.
If he goes downtown, he's stopping by there.
Yes.
If he's going downtown to any sporting event, social event,
he's gonna
work
make his
event,
rounds.
He's going to stop by before, during, or after.
He's going to say hi to the cashiers and the waitresses and all
Hi,
this.
Ben Shelley. Yeah, great. Yeah,
It's good to see you again.
Right. How are the
Here's
kids?
my
How are the
player's
kids?
card.
Oh, he's growing up fast. Did you get that card I sent in the mail? Okay.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. But you know, the casino and there's other places where I'm just like, I am totally out of my element here. I don't know what I'm doing. Like when we went, it was completely unplanned. And Matt had, I think, and somebody else had mentioned, man, we should go to the casino because we were going to go downtown and have dinner and drinks and all this stuff. And yeah, maybe we'll go to the casino. And I'm like, no, dude, I hate the casino. I hate walking through the smoke. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing when I'm betting. I'm horrible at blackjack. There's like not a lot of games that I'm strategically great at. If they had a euchre table, I'd maybe sit down for that. Yes.
Same, dude. I would go with you, bro. We would partner it up.
Oh, dude. We'd be wearing cowboy hats. We would just be raking it in
yes. There. How'd you read my mind about the cowboy hats aspect? Because I was going to say that too.
I could tell by your body language that you wanted cowboy hats, and that's why I'm making it happen. So
I wanted to look back at you and you had a cowboy hat on.
And how did you know? And suddenly it's just there.
$3,000
an F-16 flyover.
Hey, by the way, remember when you came to Nashville recently when we were looking at expensive hats?
Yes.
We're kind of well. That's the whole story.
Funny,
but we were teetering. Like I think our buddy Matt wanted one.
He wanted it.
Dykla, casino guy.
Right? Yeah, casino guy wants to stop in and get a cowboy hat.
He's a gambler. No. I won't go there. He's not at all.
No.
He just loves saying the word Chino and let's go to the Chino casino. Yeah, we went into that cowboy hat place, and I'm like, I'm not about to blow $250, $300 on a cowboy hat. Are you?
Right.
And are you going to carry it around? Are you going to wear it? Where are you going to wear it to? When are you going to find an opportunity to wear a cowboy hat? Was my question to him.
The once a year he comes to Nashville.
Yeah, and we walked.
That's when you wear it.
4 of us went in there. 0 of us walked out with a single thing.
Right.
You got to check it out.
But yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry I cut you off there.
No,
Will. You're talking.
Yeah, it's just it's a foreign thing, and so we ended up going to the casino on my birthday. We went to Motor City, right?
Yeah.
Went to Motor City Casino. Walked in there. I didn't know what I was doing. All these guys got cash out of the ATM or out of at the cashier or whatever. See, I didn't even know that. I don't remember where you get money from. I don't know how it works. So, so you get cash and like. Joe sits down at the roulette table. And I'm like, I have never played roulette in my life. All I know is that you can bet on red or black. What does all the other stuff mean? And he's just like, here, do this, do this, do this. And he's his stack, his chips are piling up. I'm like, I'm going to get in on this. I got $100 or something like that. And I just started betting on black, 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 red, black, and dude, I was stacking my chips up high. Made me feel good. I walked out of there like up $200, I think.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa.
So there was something to that.
Quick little birthday
maybe these
present.
Gamblers, maybe there is something
maybe
to
they do
it.
know something.
Well, again, I'm not one. I'm not a gambler, but I could see the appeal to it.
That's got to be the title of this episode. I'm not much of a gambler.
That's great. I actually got a different perspective on gambling. So I have a manufacturer rep who I met up with in Vegas. He does not drink whatsoever. Used to, and then just like stopped cold turkey for whatever reason. Yeah. He's not much of a drinker. But he, we invited him back to our kind of suite because we had some things there. And he's like, you know what? Like, as much as I'd love to come to your guys' room and like watch you drink, he's like, I just want to go play. And I got like a new perspective. Like, he's a single guy,
sure,
probably makes a good living. Throwing down a couple $100 probably doesn't make a dent. And so like being able to do that and to just like go and play a game, especially if you like know your way around it, I was like, Yeah, I get why you would want to do that, especially, like if you can't drink, because if you're drinking or whatever and gambling, that's usually a bad combo.
Sure.
Because your emotions can get the best of you at that point. You
Don't-
got to know
don't
when to
many-
walk away.
Don't many casinos offer just like have free drinks too?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
free drinks, yeah. Free like well drinks and then beer and wine and all.
That's
stuff.
how they get you. They pump the oxygen.
Gin
in.
and tonics on repeat.
Yeah, oh yeah,
like,
all day. If you're sitting at a table and they see
I'd
a
become
chip,
a gambler,
like
yeah.
or chips or a bet,
And a drinker.
And a drinker, quite frankly.
yeah, it's
Dude.
it's good. It's a good spot though. Casinos are fun with your friends.
I remember one time, again, I've never been into casinos. Still wouldn't call myself a casino. I'm not much of a casino. And one time, I think we were 19 or 20 years old. So if any listeners or viewers here are not from Michigan, when you turn 19, the only thing you do is go to Canada until you're 21. Those 2 years are formative for getting your
true.
bar experience in, right? That's when
people. Sorry to cut you off there, Will, but people don't realize Detroit is it's on the Detroit River is opposite Windsor, Ontario.
it's right there. I could spit on it from across the river.
It literally, like Matthew Stafford could probably throw a football across.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not 100 yards or whatever, but
Yeah.
it is quite literally. You can see
Right
it,
there.
and it's just like, oh, I can see.
Yeah.
I can see the detail on the brick in that building across the river.
Like probably 30 minutes from where we're sitting right now. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, 30 minutes from where we're
just
sitting
go
right
to
now.
Canada,
Yep.
where the drinking age is 19.
Yep.
So like Will's saying, you turn 19 and you're in our hometown.
Yep. That's what you're doing on a weekend.
Period.
Right. So we were 19 or 20 and they decided, oh, let's go to Canada this Friday or something. So I'm like, all right. So I went with my friend and his cousin. And I didn't really know his cousin too well. And we go over there. We hit the bars, of course. And I think we pretty much closed down the bars over there in Windsor. And right after that, they decide we're going to go to the casino. We're going to, so what is it, Caesars?
Caesars?
Yeah, we're going to Caesars. I'm like, dude, I was really expecting home. I thought you were going to say home. I think we're going to go home.
I'm not much of a gambler. I am quite a bit of a home.
I'm very much
guy.
home. Yeah.
Mentally, I'm home.
Mentally, I'm home always. And so I was extremely taken aback when they said casino because it was already about 2 a.m. And so anyway, I'm like, okay, maybe we'll go for an hour. Okay. They'll throw some money down. They'll get disappointed because they didn't win. And we'll get out of there. Okay, no problem.
Sure.
We go in there. I didn't put any money down on anything. I watched them gamble because I didn't know what I was doing. I'm not going to sit down at some slots, whatever. So I was just, I don't know if they were still serving alcohol past whatever that point was. So anyway, I'm just kind of moseying around watching these guys gamble. And I'm like, I remember this now too. I was picking out specific slot machines for them to play because I think they were playing slots here and there. And they won it on a few times. So I thought I was a lucky charm. So I was having a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
you're involved.
You're in it.
I knew that I controlled the situation and their money at that point by picking out the slots. That gave me vested interest in what we were doing.
Taking to their debit card and going to the ATM for them, punching in their PIN.
I found all the lucky ATMs for them. And so anyway, they're gambling. I'm like, man, it is late. I feel like it's really late. Like we've been here way past the hour that I planned on. Well, the thing with casinos too is that they don't keep any clocks hung up. They don't let you see the time. They pump oxygen in. They keep you fed. They keep you, the drinks coming and all that stuff. So I had no concept of when it was.
Sure.
We walk out of the casino, bright daylight. Not like sun just kind of coming up. Bright. I'm talking 7:30, 8 o'clock a.m. I'm walking out of that casino. I've never felt more degraded in my entire life than in that moment.
Have you ever felt like quite so much of a gambler as you did in that moment?
Now, I want to say this. I want to clear the air here. I'm not much of a gambler, but that made me feel like it,
Yeah,
for a sec.
Totally.
For a
sec.
In on the lifestyle at that point.
Yeah. So
I don't know if I've ever been overnight in a casino.
it was awful. Don't do it. Don't
Yeah.
ever do it.
Oh,
Man.
I take that back. Soaring Eagle is a place here in Michigan that I think you can go to when you're 19. Am I right on that? It's
Possibly.
like the Indian.
No alcohol.
It's up
no
north,
alcohol. Yeah, it's like it's by what's
Mount
that?
Pleasant?
Yeah, Mount
Yeah.
Pleasant. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
yep,
yeah.
yep.
Which it's just up there a little
I guess
bit.
that's not up north.
Kind of like
Yeah, that's-
Howell, but like further. But yeah, I think I came out 6 or 7 a.m. But there's no like drinking there or anything like that. Well, for 19-year-olds,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but you can
Hey,
get
that-
in.
Yeah.
Were you going to say something, Will?
No, just
Okay.
that experience
I was
is
going
awful.
to say that feeling that you guys experienced when you walked out of the when you walked out of the casino when the sun was either coming up or had already been established. It's up for a while.
Yeah.
In Will's instance, that reminds me. So our friends Joel and Matt, Mook and Dice, respectively, when we were in it's great. When we were in high school, I think, Jordan, you've heard this story before. We had a half day one time. It was our senior year. And when school got out for that half day, it was like maybe finals or something or midterm, or I forgot what we call them. But we would have half day testing days toward the end of first semester and second semester. And Joel and Matt went to the bar across the street for lunch, which apparently you could get into. It was like a restaurant bar, but totally a bar only. But apparently as 17-year-olds, they could get in, and they went in there. And it's, for context, this place is like a hole in the wall is only starts to describe it. It's like you would not go there. Any person in their right mind with any kind of budget, like it's if you had a budget for Applebee's, you're well past this place. Like it's just like where it's the lowest of the low. And so anyway, they went there for lunch, probably to get some smelt or something. Like that sounds like something Matt would want.
Yeah, basket
And
of smelt.
they a basket of smelt. And so they went there, and this was at 11:30 in the morning, and they said they opened the door, and everybody from the bar like looked back at them like this. They jerked their head back toward the door where it opened, and they were all shielding. According to Matt, they were shielding their eyes from the light that was coming in.
Freaking vampires, dude.
Oh,
They had been just so firmly established there for so long
By
that they were
11:30.
shielding their eyes from the light that was
Dude,
coming in.
It's like a Wild West saloon. Matt is wearing spurs. Ching, 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 ching.
slams open the
saloon
doors.
style doors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Saloon style doors.
The waitresses are all
reminds me of
ducking and running away as soon as they come in.
Oh, that's so great.
Oh, man.
Oh, that reminded me of that.
I've been to a
high
few
school
bars
was
like
fun,
that.
man. Say what?
I said I've been to a few bars like that where it's like,
Dude, we met at one.
we did.
We met at one, dude. We met
Timberwolf
at-
Lodge, wasn't it?
yeah, in Redford, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, we went to go see Johnny's friend's band play, right?
Yep. And so it was me, Johnny, Mook, and you, or Joel and you. And Joel was the common linkage. He's like, you guys got to me and Johnny, you guys got to meet my buddy Will. He's coming out tonight. He's my coworker. He's really funny, dude. I'm not kidding you. Like, this guy's he's special. And so we're like, sure, yeah, we'll meet your buddy Will. We met you that night, and nobody's lives were ever the same.
Nothing's ever been the same since.
No,
For better or for worse.
The Earth's axis just kind of tilted it just changed a couple degrees at that night. Everything changed. What year was that? 14?
Glaciers started melting and stuff. Yeah, it was weird.
And look where we are now.
Look where we are
you
now.
know,
So that probably wasn't a good thing.
Yeah.
But
When did I meet you?
I met you, Jordan.
Way later, right? Couple
It was-
years
it was
later.
I think it was before you and I think it was like when you and Monica like started dating.
Oh, sick.
That sounds about right, because
Before-
you crashed their wedding.
I crashed the last 5 minutes of your wedding.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah. I got there just for them to say
I
this is the
remember
last
that.
song. I got a quick drink and then I was gone. But yeah.
Do you
well,
know
to the
that if
casino.
do you know that if it was my wedding right now, that you would be in my wedding?
No, I don't. I don't have that reassurance.
Well,
I
you
don't.
would be.
You haven't put that in writing. So
at the vow renewal.
at the vow renewal, I want a spot
I'll
at the
get you-
table.
I'll get you up there.
Give me a spot at the table,
Yeah.
wouldn't you?
Wouldn't you?
But yeah, when I met you, you had a big, huge, long beard, long hair,
Yeah.
everything. I thought you were at minimum 5-6 years older than me, and come to find out you're younger than me,
Yeah,
and nothing makes sense.
5, 6 years.
Yeah, by 5-6 years.
Stout actually told me during that time of my life that I just completely let myself go.
When did I say that? During the time or after the time?
During.
What did I say? Can you paraphrase?
I could paraphrase, but I could probably tell you exactly what you said.
I'm sorry. You know, anything I've ever said to you, for the most part, and vice versa, has been out of love.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Dude.
And I cut my beard like maybe 2 days later.
So what did I say?
You said something like, hey, I mean, yeah, just with your hair and your beard and everything
Jordan.
like that, like I think people can get the impression that you've just let yourself go.
I think what he probably said was, Jordan, listen, I'm not much of a gambler, but I think you've kind of let yourself.
But I would be
think
willing
you're
to
making
bet.
a big gamble on this hairstyle right now.
Not much of a gambler, but I'd be willing to bet that you look bad.
Dude, see, so I had no perspective going into it. When I met you and you had the long beard and the hair, I'm like, this guy kind of like he's rugged. He's cool. And I thought you were like older than me. Yeah. I didn't know anything about you.
Yeah.
And so I had no perspective to go off of. But seeing you now, it would be insane for me to see you with a long beard, long hair like that again now.
Right.
Yes.
It would be really weird
Super
for
weird.
sure.
Yeah.
We'll have to put up a picture of what I used to look like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, definitely. I'm going to make a note of that right now, in fact. Hey, while I do that, I'm not much of a drinker, but I would like to know, what are you guys sipping on bourbon-wise? What do you guys have going over there?
I brought a couple bottles of Russell's made by Wild Turkey. So I've got the 6-year-old single barrel rye, which is one of my favorite ryes that I enjoy. Not much of a drinker, but I really enjoy that one.
I'm not much of a drinker, but I had 4 friends over the weekend, and we had a rye flight.
Ooh.
And that I didn't have that featured, and I probably should have.
Yeah. It's a great bottle. It's
Pretty
usually
inexpensive too, right?
It's like $60.
Yeah, okay.
It's pretty readily available, which is great. And I just love everything Wild Turkey does. So the other one is a single barrel pick from Maria's Marketplace, the place that I partner with. And that's a single barrel of Russell's single barrel bourbon, which is a staple for me. I never
It's so good.
don't have it on my shelf. I think the same goes for you guys.
Yeah, I can tell you
Yeah.
right now, it's really good.
Whenever anyone is like, Drew, I'm interested in getting into bourbon, or I went to one of the tastings that you've hosted, or my uncle or somebody like loves bourbon, and I had some sips with them, and I'm curious, what bottle should I get? I always say, I think Russell's Reserve 10-year.
10-year.
If their price point is $40 to $45 or less, that's always the one I start with.
Yeah,
Russell's
it's so
Reserve.
good, man.
Yep.
Man, we should have a like a bourbon episode, because the three of us, we all are in different, various points of that hobby, and
Yeah.
there are a lot of listeners that we have who have DM'd me on the side or texted me or whatever and said, hey, literally to the point where I put together a stouting off like recommended 5 bottles. Like, it's a little it's a PDF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we should do an episode one time. Maybe we do a tasting or a guided tasting, and that would be cool.
We
You
should
follow-
like
you could
let
leave
people
down.
in during the tasting too. Like if
Yeah.
they're in a waiting room or like in a live chat or something like that, we can let them into the room to like taste one. That'd
Yeah.
be fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That would be totally cool. Something, even live. Would be
Stouting
sweet.
off live on Instagram.
Yeah, let's do it.
Heck yeah. All right, so we'll get that. I'm actually going to make a note of that. We'll do that sometime within the next month or two. Because we have done a live before. We've done a live
we did.
session
Yeah, in my living room with
in
Rye.
your living room.
Oh yeah. I wasn't there. I was watching from afar though.
This is a topic. Sweat is what brought it to my mind, but
You and I bond heavily over that. this
I
particular
love
topic.
to sweat.
It's a passion of
even
yours.
when I'm
You're
not-
not much of a sweater.
I'm
but,
sweating right now. I'm not doing anything, and so I just love to get it out there, man. I just love doing it. It helps to fill some time of the day. Keeps me busy.
Sweating.
Keeps me busy and focused, and yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. We had mentioned camping on the last episode, and there was one topic that I meant to bring up, but I did not. And we had been talking about, how our fathers would pack a cooler,
Sure,
if you're
yeah.
going camping and stuff. Well, what I meant to discuss was my dad's tent. Okay.
Yeah.
My dad's tent he had for probably the better part of 15 years. I mean, this thing it had seen some miles. He had taken it to the UP. He had taken it to Camp Dearborn. You take a tent to Camp Dearborn 3 times, and it should be probably tossed. So,
yeah, right.
This thing, it had 2 big, rooms. So it had a foyer and then a master bedroom, pretty much.
It's a nice tent.
A nice tent. On paper, seems like a nice tent. My dad treated this thing like it was found on the side of the road, and he decided to pick it up. He loaned it to me. Now, granted, I'll say this too. I had to help him set that tent up when I was a kid. Okay.
So he's had it longer than 15 years, probably.
Yeah, I don't think he has it anymore. I think he finally tossed it at some point, right?
But it was probably 30 years that he's had this tent.
It was old. I mean, I don't know how old, but it was old. Or it was just worse for wear. I don't know. And I had to help him set this thing up. And it was you would think he was trying to solve some sort of intricate chemistry or architectural problem every time this thing came out of the bag. There was a system that he knew with how to get this set up. You buy a tent now, or you set up a tent now, it's like, dude, there's nothing to it.
Yeah, you throw away the instructions. It's very intuitive.
Toss them over your shoulder.
Color coded
over your right shoulder. You spill
a sign
the
of
salt,
luck.
toss them over your right shoulder.
So they all have color coded, poles and instructions, and they're easy. And the straps will tell you which poles go into which thing. There's all this help, right? With that, it was a gamble every time he opened up the bag. He didn't know what he was going to get.
You had to get the circular saw out to cut the poles every time. Every time they're different.
Hey, we're going camping. Why are you stopping at the hardware store? Well, I got to get 30 feet of metal tubing. Got to set the tent up when we get there, of course.
Well, we got 1.5 inch conduit that we lost the last time.
Yeah, we're going to have to go to that steel factory over there, have them bend all the poles for us. So that'll be another 4 or 5 hours. And
then I got to see a pipe fitter, and then you got to hire a pipe fitter for the weekend.
He's got to stay in the tent with us, so I hope you get to know him well. But dude, every single time he takes the poles and everything out of the bag, and it's like, how does this go together? He doesn't even know. He doesn't remember how he packed it last time, which poles. He never made note of any of this. And the only way that he would make note sometimes is by putting duct tape on specific poles and others not, or whatever. That was it. It.
What does that what does it mean?
Nothing. That meant absolutely zero to the process. Hey, this has black duct tape on it. Where does this go? I forget. And then he would scream about it. And every time that tent came out of the bag, I knew that my dad was going from calm to through the roof blood pressure. And he is the one that has set it up over 100 times probably in his life.
Oh, you've stayed in this thing, right?
Oh yeah.
So it eventually does end up like going up. Right?
It ended up
nice?
Yeah, but no. Well, it's gone now. But dude, that thing was like if I could equate like the trailer park of tents, like this is what this would be at this point.
It's a 10-inch crawl space,
dude. Brand new. We would have to set up this crawl space in the middle of the campground. So
it had a foyer and a master bedroom. It's just that it was all 10 inches high.
Well,
it was all in a crawl space.
Yeah, it was just a crawl space. We always envisioned that there was somehow a foyer and a kitchen above it, but we never saw that it was just a crawl space that we lived in. So, dude, but yeah, when he would set it up, it'd be like the blazing hot sun at like 12 noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that. Coming down on him, and he's trying to organize these poles that he has there were poles he had found along the way that were mixed in there and stuff. Please help me if I ever had to take that thing on my own, because I did a few times, and I'm like, I don't understand what's happening here.
I was going to say, didn't that come with us on one of the trips? I remember like on one of the trips, like one of the rafting trips we did.
Yeah.
I feel like that tent came with us, and right? Didn't it come with us on the first one?
It's possible. I know. I
remember us scratching our heads. I come to think of it, I remember you being like, "This is my dad's tent."
Yeah.
I remember us scratching our heads like, "There's a loaf of bread and like, what am I supposed to do with this?
There's a pork shoulder in here.
Okay,
there's a pork shoulder in here. There's a loaf of bread. Like,
there's a pork shoulder in one of these tent tubes.
There's a ski pole. I think he was using that as I don't know.
The pipe fitter's not here.
The pipe fitters. I mean, there's a contract for it.
There's PVC pipe. What's the PVC pipe for? What is this? There's a machete. There's all sorts of weird tools.
He's got the snorkel.
Yeah. Whenever I had to take that thing on my own, I don't know how to explain it. It's like if you built a custom project yourself and then handed it off to somebody else with no instruction
Totally.
to put it together. It was a complete puzzle, and I don't know how he did it. But speaking of sweat, when that tent came out and he had to put that up like in the early afternoon, there were some times too where he wouldn't show up to the campsite until when it's dark, and then tries to set that up in the dark.
Oh,
It's just simply
that's tough.
It's just not going to
Setting
happen.
up camp at night.
It's just
even with a tent where you know the ins and outs.
you know every inch of
even
it.
that's difficult.
Yeah,
I feel like the only time I've ever set up a tent at a campground is at night. Just my luck.
Tough.
It's tough. Got flashlights out. You got all the stuff. You wake up the next morning. It's all wrong.
Yep.
There's
It's
a
awful.
pole sticking out somewhere where it
But
shouldn't.
once he got that set up, I can't even tell you how many extension cords and surge protectors were going in and out of that thing. So many electronics, and
Hooked up to an inverter in the car or something.
dude, yeah, there's like a generator running off of a car, running off the city power, and all this stuff. But yeah, he would put Christmas lights around it and
Naturally.
That's cool.
a stereo, and
Yeah, he's a showman. He does yeah, like your dad.
he loves flair. He loves flair.
He loves the grandiose. He loves the
loves it.
extravagant.
And when he's camping too, so funny. Every 15 minutes is a costume change. Every 15 minutes he's going in there. He's coming out with a different piece of clothing on.
No kidding.
Or a different accessory. It's a different hat. Different
something.
socks. He's waiting for somebody to say, what's that? What you got there? What you put out? What are those
Dude, he
socks?
comes so prepared.
So that's where I get my overpacking from, dude.
Yeah.
My dad would pack like he was in the Grapes of Wrath when we were going camping to Camp Dearborn, 45 minutes away. Like full
one
truck
night.
pots and pans shaking around in the bed, and just the recliner and just all the stuff.
Dude.
Well, listen, guys. I think that just about does it for our time for here on episode 53. For here, it does our time for here, man.
That's how everybody says it.
Perfect.
It does our
sentence, dude.
time
That's-
for here.
It's like our time in for here. But that's about time for us, and appreciate you guys being here as always. I say that as though you guys are guests. You're not guests. I mean, we're family here, and
Well, we
and that's how
appreciate
it
you
is.
for being here too. So
Yeah, and thank you.
It's all
That's what
good.
actually I was fishing for.
By the way,
Not much of a fisher, but
all I can focus on is the silhouette of you speaking in the microphone right behind you.
the
From now
shadow.
on.
oh
yeah.
wow, look
That's
at
it.
that.
It's perfect.
Dude, I can't see it from where
You'll see it.
I am
in
because
the
I'm
edits.
here. But I'll see it back on the playback. But love you guys, and so good episode 53. If you're still with us by the end of this episode, we love you, and thanks for listening as always to the Stouting Off podcast. We'll see you next time.